Hello everybody, I am Rustama Zuhraturaeva. I work at Regional Center of Retraining and In-Service Training Program of Public Education in Samarkand. Today we are going to talk about some modern innovative approaches in teaching foreign language. In our country there are many innovative modern approaches in teaching foreign languages. Especially we'll talk about today CLT. So what is CLT? CLT is Communicative Language Teaching. CLT is current and recent, some new approach in our country. From 2013 in our schools we started teaching young learners according to some communicative approaches. They started learning foreign languages by two skills, speaking and listening skills. And in this case, communicative approach includes two skills, main skills, speaking and writing skills. There are many activities based on communicative approach. There are some of them I wrote here. You can see activities for CLT, fill in the gaps, role plays, games, make up stories, dictations, but dictations can be for some innovative dictations. From innovative dictations I can say some running dictation, dictagloss and etc. True-false activity and matching. All of them can be based on communicative approach. It means that they lead to communicate between pupils and it can be good, really good development activities for their speech. In the content, introduction, the main part, communicative language teaching approach, teacher education for curricular innovation, classroom activities, conclusion. Historically, communicative teaching language has been seen as a response to the audiolingual method, as an extension or development of the notional functional syllabus. Task-based language learning, a more recent refinement of CLT, has gained considerably popularity. Classroom activities used in communicative language teaching can include the following: interviews, games, pair work, role play, language exchanges, information gaps, surveys, learning by teaching. This method consists of following levels: approaches, structural method, interactive method, proprietary, teaching techniques, assessment. The main aim of CLT is to make pupils communicate successfully not only in the classroom but outside also. But we have some merits and demerits of CLT. What can be for merit and what can be for demerit. Some of them I wrote on the blackboard. You can see with my posters here. So first one for merit, and I won't explain about merit. It can be also for like advantage of CLT and the effective usage of communicative approach. First one is, it develops speech ability. What does it mean? It means that if we have communicative approach lessons, it can help to develop pupils' speech ability. The next, it teaches of different ways of expression. It means that pupils can feel about telling their idea anytime with any expressions, not about having some shame on telling something, not about thinking about their mistakes. It can be good for giving their any thinking, any idea. That's why we can say that it is a great merit. Next, third, this approach is based on the practical utility. It means this approach is mostly we can have this approach with practical way. We cannot think about only theoretical lessons. We can have only practical to use the language in the lesson. Not about thinking that the language is important, but the usage of language is important. Next, it lays more stress on the functional value of language. As I said, in the third merit, it means language is important. Not only thinking about the structure and grammar of language, but the usage and to communicate, to think about any foreign language is important. And we teach in this way. Curricular innovation is best advanced by the development of local materials, which in turn rests on the involvement of classroom teacher, provides a useful summary of 8 principles of CLT. The first one is language teaching is based on a view of language as a communication. Second one is diversity is recognized and accepted as a part of language development and used in second language learners and users as it is with the first language users. Third one is a learner's competence is considered in relative, not in absolute terms. Fourth one, more than one variety of language is recognized as a viable model for learning and teaching. Culture is recognized and instrumental in shaping speakers' communicative competence in fifth one. Sixth one is no single methodology or fixed set of techniques is prescribed. Seventh one, language use is recognized as a serving additional interpersonal and textual functions. Eighth one is it is essential that learners be engaged in doing things with language, that is, that they use language for a variety of purposes in all phases of learning. Communicative language teaching conception includes integration of skills, authentic materials, infogap activities, group work, peer work, learner responsibility, teacher as classroom manager. Communicating in English, we can use materials like newspapers, articles, travel brochures, magazine adverbs, etc. Conclusion. I think that CLT are more successful in English as a second or foreign language text because pupils usually have a very supportive learning environment outside school. They have more chances to be exposed to the authentic contact with native speakers and the target language which reinforces that they learn in class. So fifth one, it enables pupils to communicate both inside and outside the classroom. It helps pupils to communicate not only in the classroom, but in the classroom also it's good when teacher says, teacher helps them, like facilitates to speak, but it can be good for them to speak outside, even at home. Even they try to use this language anytime because they want to use which they have learned in the lesson. So all of them can be married. Merits are good sides of our CLT, but obviously we can have some disadvantages. So some of them I wrote on the blackboard. Here you can see. This approach ignores grammar. Is it right or not? I can just give my own suggestions. So as a CLT teacher or like having communicative approach lessons, I can say sometimes we're gonna forget about grammar structures. So why? We can have only lessons based on some practical exercises, not only leading them to grammar rules. Sometimes we don't teach them grammar rules, we just give them about this topic exactly something practically, not about knowing what does it mean in theoretical way. So next, it's not properly developed yet. Maybe, yes, it's not so properly. Maybe in our country we cannot say that it's developed because we don't have environment in our country. We don't have, some conditions for having only CLT lessons. Sometimes we have lack of in this sphere. So third one is pupils don't get proper environment in communication. For like the second one, pupils, not only pupils, any learners cannot have the environment for communicating with somebody because they can have chance to communicate only in the classroom, maybe with their teachers, with their classmates. After going home, after their sessions, they cannot have exact conditions or exact situations to talk with somebody in English language, especially. That's why it can be like some one disadvantage. The last one, trained teachers are not available in this approach for teaching English. For what does it mean? Trained teachers, it's not about so experienced teachers, but nowadays we don't have exact CLT teachers, as you know. Some teachers, they were taught in past times, and they don't know maybe some of effective tips how to teach because they used to teach some theoretical positions, theoretical ways in language teaching. But in this case, we should base on some practical way. In this case, we cannot say that trained teachers can be available in communicative approach. It is also a big can be disadvantage in teaching CLT. But we should think about CLT like, any modern and innovative approach in teaching foreign languages can be good in our time. So sometimes we can ask ourselves, what does it mean? So approach. Approach is a way of looking, of teaching and learning. How do we teach and how do we learn? And how can we look, how can we have any look to teach or learning? It is our own approach. So language teaching approach is a theoretical way of what language is and how can it be learned. An approach is a way of teaching something. Anytime I just give my suggestions to my teachers to use their own way of teaching and to have their own approaches. But you should think about that communication is the best current approach, and practice, making some practice in any foreign language learning makes best. Thank you, that's all.